Okay, so they will present the celebration food that they had prepared.
Now, now we will introduce celebration foods for the following three occasions: Dragon Boat Festival, Moon Festival, and the Winter Solstice. First, we will talk about what food we eat in Dragon Boat Festival. The food is 粽子, which is rice dumplings. There are yolk, pork, and peanuts in original flavor rice dumplings. Rice dumplings in northern and the southern are a bit different. The northern rice dumplings are steamed. The southern rice dumplings are boiled. Besides the original flavor, there are also other special flavors of rice dumpling, like country dumpling and ice dumpling. They are a delicious treat to enjoy on hot summer day in Taiwan, and they are available at traditional market. One rice dumpling usually costs about 40 to 50 NT dollars, which is about 1.5 US dollars. Next, we will introduce pommelos and mooncakes. They are the traditional food that we eat on the Moon Festival, which is on August 15th of the lunar calendar. On this day, people gather together to enjoy the full moon while eating pommelos and mooncakes. Pommelos are a fruit that matured in autumn, near the time of the Moon Festival. It tastes a little bit sour. However, eating pommelos can help remove the cloying sweet taste of dessert. So many people eat them with mooncakes.
There are many kinds of mooncakes. Egg yolk cake and mung-bean cakes are the two most common ones. Egg yolk cakes are made from wheat and butter, with inner fillings of egg yolk and red bean. It is crispy on the outside and soft in the center. Different from egg yolk cake, mung-bean cake has an inner filling of green bean. Also, the round shape of mooncakes and full moon symbolizes the meaning of family reunion. Now, here is a question for you. Are there any moon-related festivals in your country?
Wow, there's not any that I know of in the United States, but there's quite a few throughout the world.
So not in the U.S.?
No, not in the U.S. so much, but you'll see it with. I guess there's some holdovers, different. Our holidays are based on a little bit different, but go ahead. What I was trying to say is that there's no tradition like that here in the States.
Okay. Thank you for your answer.
Yes, no problem.
Now we will introduce tangyuan. Tangyuan is a glutinous rice dish that we eat on Dongzi, or also known as winter solstice. It is made from glutinous rice, so it has a chewy and sticky taste. The round shape symbolizes family reunion and completeness. Traditional tangyuans are white and pink glutinous rice balls boiled in sweet soup with no inner fillings. Another similar food is yuanxiao. Yuanxiao has inner fillings including both sweet and savory ones. Peanut and sesame are popular sweet inner fillings, while meat for savory ones. Traditionally, we eat tangyuan on winter solstice and yuanxiao on lantern festival. But nowadays, people enjoy both glutinous rice balls on both festivals and any time of year.
Now, I will tell you the origin of tangyuan. There was a poor couple with a daughter. The wife died because of a serious disease. In order to bury his wife, the man sold his daughter to the rich. Before selling his daughter, the man begged for some glutinous rice and made them into rice balls. The man told his daughter that they would eat glutinous rice balls again when they are reunited. That's why tangyuan represents family reunion nowadays. The above are our celebration foods. There are rice dumplings, mooncakes, and tangyuan. They are delicious and meaningful, and they play an important role in our culture. If you come to Taiwan, don't forget to try them. Thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions?
Yes. What does the pomelo taste like?
A little bit sour and is
Okay, so it's a go ahead.
juicy.
Juicy, and it is a bit like grapefruit.
Okay. I thought maybe it looked like a grapefruit. It's a segmented citrus fruit then, correct?
Yes, and it's probably from the same family.
Oh, okay, good. That would make some sense. I've seen you do several of these before. In fact, I was redoing the deal we did last December, and they talked about the Moon Festival, and they show a picture of them making hats out of the skin of the pomelo. I was just wondering what it tastes like, 'cause I cannot find any of those in the stores here in the States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we see grapefruits and stuff, and we have all kinds of different melons, but we don't have. I don't see it here, but maybe I'm not going to the right store.
Do you have any more questions for them?
Yes. What does the moon pie taste like?
Mooncake.
Mooncake?
Yeah, moon cakes. I'm sorry.
Oh, it is taste crispy on the outside and soft in the center.
Yeah, and then that's where you have the different fillings and different things in the center, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it make a difference on what type of filling the festival or no?
Is there a difference between the
The
fillings?
significance about the difference.
Anything important or significant about the feeling inside that tells about the festival? Or is there a special type of feeling for a special meaning?
Oh.
No?
No.
No special meaning for the feelings?
No.
Okay. And how far back historically, when did the first celebrations begin?
When did the first celebration for the Moon Festival end? Anybody?
What?
When did the Moon Festival celebration begin? Is it Ming or Yuan? Yuan Dynasty?
Okay.
How long ago was that?
Did they have anything like this in Taiwan before the Chinese people came to Taiwan?
Did we celebrate the Moon Festival before the Chinese people came to Taiwan? No. So that was brought over. This custom was brought over from the people who came to Taiwan.
Okay. And then today, how many people are native Taiwanese as opposed to have Chinese relatives?
That is hard to estimate.
Okay, so are most of families?
Yeah, because of intermarriages and probably
Right.
people.
So most of the people are blended and they adopted this now, correct?
Right. Yes, that is correct.
So this would be pretty much universally celebrated in Taiwan today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
No
you. We
further
have
questions.
questions for you too. The students have a lot of questions. They're excited to ask you questions.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
What's your favorite food? What's your favorite celebration food and on which festival?
Okay. How do we celebrate? What did you say that? She said. Maybe could you
Again,
repeat?
slowly.
What's your favorite celebration food
Oh.
and festival?
Okay. What's my favorite celebration foods? And probably it would have to do with a dinner, and it was probably on a religious deal. We have 2 major holidays a year in our religion: Christmas, Both of the holidays will normally revolve around food, and the food would be probably ham with all kinds of different side dishes and stuff like that. And then another holiday here in the States would be Thanksgiving, where we celebrate the founding of the first colonies back in the 1620s, although it didn't become a holiday until the 1800s. But to make a long story short, on Thanksgiving, and then they celebrate turkey on that. But most of our is either the turkey, the holiday turkey with a tremendous amount of family coming and food. And that's normally for Thanksgiving. Or then Christmas and Easter would normally be, in our tradition, it would be ham and a lot of different food like that. I hope that answers your question. By the way, Christmas would be we celebrate the birth of Christ, and Easter is the resurrection.
Thank you. And we have another question.
Since we don't have much celebration drinks in Taiwan, do the U.S. have any celebration drinks?
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good question. There are adult drinks that a lot of people drink their celebration quite a bit. A lot to do with alcohol and stuff like that. I won't get into that here. But in the United States, a lot of drinks that either if they're not mixed drinks or alcoholic drinks would be like punches. You see a lot of punch, which would have normally a fruit base with maybe sherbet or some ice cream or something in it, and served on ice. And then a lot of times people will associate our soft drinks, Dr. Peppers, very big here in Texas, Coca-Cola, and stuff like that with certain celebrations. But in the United States, most celebrations are celebrated with adult beverage like beer or champagne or something to that effect.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So did you say that, what did you say that the drink was after the beer? We didn't get the one after the champagne? Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. Or wine of some sort. In the millennials, kids a little bit older than your students, they say wine is very, very popular. And I would notice that, I think sorghum wine, you guys brought up before, in rice wine and stuff is very popular there. I don't know. I don't really drink that much, so wine and stuff is kind of off. Go ahead.
Well, American people play a trick on others on April Fool's Day.
American people, could you repeat again?
Play a trick on others on April Fool's Day.
Mary, can you help me out here a second? American people, what?
Repeat very slowly.
Yeah,
Well,
sorry.
American people play a trick on others on April Fool's Day.
Okay, American people treat ours.
Play a trick. Play tricks on people.
Trick or treat.
On April Fool's Day. No, on April Fool's Day.
Okay. Oh yeah. Today is April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day is very common for people to play tricks. You're right. That and Halloween. I don't know why both of them the deal is, but they will play certain tricks on April 1st. It's not as big as it was probably at one time, and it's normally with little kids quite a bit. They will pull a lot of parents pull little tricks on elementary school kids, and the kids will pull tricks on each other. I don't really think there'll be a whole lot of people here, but one time they used to dress up and everything else and pull a lot of tricks on people.
So you're saying that normally in high school, they don't have this playing tricks on...
Now, in high school, at least in our high school, at Halloween, you know, the other time when they do tricks on people, they dress up in costumes and everything else. It's pretty much not costume at all on April the 1st here. So if anybody did a trick, it would just be a verbal trick.
A verbal trick. Interesting.
Yeah, you know, they would say, you're really good looking, or something like that. April Fools, you know.
Okay.
What kinds of celebration food do you have on Independence Day?
On Independence Day. Okay.
Yes.
That is normally in the United States is pretty famous for like hot dogs or hamburgers, barbecue cookout, ice cream, maybe homemade ice cream, depending on what type of age group of people you have. And then again, soft drinks like Cokes, peppers. In our part of the country, iced tea. And then for adults, probably a tremendous quantity of beer. Would also be consumed. But normally there would be cookouts, barbecues, hamburgers, hot dogs, stuff like that for Independence Day.
Thank you.
Now, several years ago, you could ask Mary, but remember when we had that lady from Louisiana that grilled an alligator?
Alligator?
Yeah, we had a lady from Louisiana. I always remember her. She grilled an alligator and they were eating it. And then we had some people from Ghana that grilled an antelope and ate it. So yeah, that's some pretty good celebration foods. They went out and grilled the antelope outside their school, then they ate it.
有听到刚刚说别的国家曾有烤那个鹿那种 antelope， 然后还有烤那个 alligator 那个鳄鱼的。Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask that we know the important festival in America called Christmas, and
Yeah.
Santa Claus play an important role in it. But I want to ask, do the children still believe that Santa Claus exists?
Okay, glad you asked that question. Santa Claus was actually a bishop in the Eastern Orthodox Church. His name was Saint Nicholas. He lived about the time of the early 300 AD. And what has happened is they merged a bunch of different stories together. Saint Nicholas died, I believe, on December the 6th. And the gentleman is kind of a fascinating person. And some of his truths have come about. He allegedly was able to bilocate, which means he could be at two places at once. And at one time during the Council of Nicaea, he was allegedly thrown in jail and appeared hundreds of miles to somebody else. So, you know, that's kind of a tricky guy he was. But he came from a lot of wealth, and what he would do is he took a vow to get rid of his money. So he would leave gold coins or gold bullion or pieces of gold in people's houses. And in the early days, especially in Anatolia, which is present-day Turkey where he is at, it's fairly cold. It's a temperate climate. It's not as cold as northern climates, but it'll have cold during the winter. So people would hang up their stockings, and they wash their clothes, and they have to hang up their stockings by the fireplace because that's the only way for it to dry. They didn't have automatic dryers and stuff like that. So what the guy would do is he'd go into people's houses and leave gold coins inside the socks or inside the shoes and stuff like that. So he was getting rid of his money and that. The reason why Santa Claus dressed in red, because that is the color of what a bishop would wear, a bishop's hat and mitre and stuff like this. So there truly was a man named St. Nicholas. He really he was a very trickster, at the least. Then Coca-Cola got a hold of the idea. Well, actually, in the Netherlands, it becomes Santa Claus, Santa, like Saint from the Spanish. And they crossed it with the idea that he lived at the North Pole and that he would go magically and instead of bilocating, he could be at everybody's house at the same time, which is fairly interesting. And he would come around Christmas time. The idea of Christmas presents, again, same thing. Well, December the 6th is St. Nicholas Day, and that's where they would celebrate the giving of gifts. The giving of gifts at Christmas time, it came about because of the wise men that came to visit baby Jesus. Now, that probably took place after his birth, and I don't know if he was really born on the 25th, but that's when they actually celebrate. But the idea of Santa Claus was popular in the Northern European. A jolly man with red, still again, bishop's thing, like I said. They got crossed in the early 1900s by a company called Coca-Cola. And Coca-Cola designed Santa Claus and made him really anglicized. They made him to be Northern European, jolly guy, you know, and then they invented this whole idea. So if you ask if people really believe in Santa Claus, if they know historically, they might do like I just told you with about 5-minute answer, or they could tell you that Santa Claus was this magical person. The idea actually of giving a gift is important at Christmas, but Christmas is a lot more than just Santa Claus itself. Okay? I hope I gave you a long answer. It probably wasn't what you wanted, but I'm full of information.
May I ask you another question?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to ask that do all the schools in America teach students that how the Santa Claus come from, such as teaching them why the Santa Claus wear the red clothes?
Oh no, probably. Now that's a very good question that you asked there, young man. Happened was you hear in the United States. I'll give you a quick history lesson. In 1947, in Everson case, Justice Hugo Black, who wrote the decision, came up with the erroneous decision, I believe, that said that there should be separation of church and state. That was in the First Amendment. That is never really in the First Amendment. The First Amendment states that Congress shall establish no religion. Ever since we separated that idea out, and the Supreme Court has decided to dictate that change our Constitution, it's been very difficult to bring up a whole lot of stuff about religion. In fact, I'm probably talking to you more about religion than I could really talk to my own class. It would be better off if you could talk from the historical perspective about Santa Claus, just like I told you. Santa Claus was a real person. You know, many of our myths and stuff were based on reality. It's not like somebody completely invented it. Although Coca-Cola just invented it and came, you know, crazy to the North Pole. But the guy lived in Anatolia. He was a bishop. You can look up anything about him. You can see that he took a vow of poverty, and he gave away all his money, and people were very happy. In fact, he's a patron saint of pawn shops, and you see 3 gold balls, and 3 gold balls are symbolic of him giving gold to the poor people. So poor people loved them, little kids loved them, that kind of stuff. They invented this whole new idea, and in fact, I think it might be counterproductive that some people believe that, and as soon as they grow up and they find out that their parents are helping out a lot, you know, that Santa Claus isn't as real as what they had originally thought, that, you know, that they become very disillusioned. Well, I don't think they become disillusioned if they actually knew what the truth was in the first place. So if your answer was, should we teach the truth, and the answer should be, the truth shall set you free.
Right, thank you.
Thank you. I guess they won't ask any more questions, no, Mary? Any more questions?
Yeah, a follow-up question about Santa Claus.
Oh, good.
Have you ever played a Santa Claus and given out gifts to your children or your classmates between Christmas?
Yeah. When my children were young, we participated in the Santa Claus giving out to children. Now I have grandchildren, and I give them out. They got gifts. Now my grandchildren are the age to where I believe that they'll probably be participating, but not as enthusiastically, if you understand what I'm trying to say. I've written several papers on this, and I firmly believe that in some ways, by talking about things like this, we lose a lot of the realities that if you actually believe that the purpose of Christmas was not Santa Claus, but the purpose of Christmas was to celebrate a birth of a person that was very important to the earth, then maybe we shouldn't confuse the two things. And once you get confused to young people, and then they find out that that may not be necessarily the truth, the next thing they're going to say, well, the other isn't the truth either. So I think we're doing ourselves a disservice. I don't think the gifts are bad. I think we should try to teach people, you know, that Santa Claus, like I was explained before, Santa Claus is real. He doesn't live at the North Pole. He actually lives in, he lived in Anatolia. And, you know, I can relate to that because many of my relatives lived in Anatolia at the same time.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Last question?
Okay.
Yeah? Okay.
Is there any special fruit only eaten festival?
Is there any special, what type of festival?
Special fruits.
Oh, fruit.
Yes.
Wow. We actually have fruit festivals, which is really kind of strange. Most of our fruit festivals take place about the time of growing season. Here in Texas, we have a strawberry festival in Poteet. They grow a lot of strawberries. We have a watermelon festival where they grow a lot of watermelons. We have cantaloupe or melon festivals out West Texas where they grow a lot of melons. We have other celebrations like the Orange Bowl. You might have heard that, a football game and stuff like that in the Orange Bowl. We have fruits have played a very important part. I know here in Texas, we used to grow a tremendous amount of citrus fruits in the Rio Grande Valley. And they have a lot of festivals around between where we live in San Antonio and even in our surrounding areas. I know of like I said, the strawberry is a blueberry one in Northeast Texas. There's blackberry festivals. There are literally about as many different kind of fruit festivals as that. Most of them are associated with the time of harvest. And you'll see that in a lot of cultures. In some cultures, I know between China going west on the Silk Road, they'll have the, you know, blessing the waters. They'll have, you know, grape festivals when the grapes are harvested and stuff like this. So I'm sure that's universal in the fact that we would try to do that. And if you celebrate the two together, that would make some sense on the Moon Festival. We just don't do the Moon Festival, but we do at winter solstice is very close to our Christmas, so you could make a case for that.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your very, very informative answers. I mean, the students are like, oh, this is very nice and very, you know, educational. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I didn't mean to get into, but that happens to be two things I'm very passionate about. Well, I'm passionate about a lot of things, but the thing about Santa Claus actually hits a raw nerve because, unfortunately, I'd say here in the States, under the old Deluder law, which is in a colony of Massachusetts, our first original idea of education was to educate the kids educate the kids enough so they wouldn't be deluded by Satan. So it's called the old Deluder law. And much of our education for many years was based on, you know, church type of situations. Well, today we've become so totally secular and so much away from that it's even hard to bring up historical references. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk a little bit about those. And it's very difficult to talk about any kind of celebration without talking about some religion, because most religion will have a basis somewhere in it.
Yes, totally agree. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll see you on maybe April 12th, if possible at all, or in next month's Food for Thought.
We're going to be live a bunch on April the 12th. We're doing a bunch of water conferences. I'm supposed to have some collected, but I don't know. I mean, some of these people are very interesting on commitments. I think they're just I got a brand new crop of people, and I'm not still sure if the technology is, they just be overwhelmed, I think, what you say. But, I hope.
Actually, I just thought of a good time for maybe if your class or you would like to connect and join us live on April 12th. We're doing a model United Nations with Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And that is during your, I think it's 8 o'clock, your 8 in the morning. Yeah, so the dialing would be using the, last time I'll send you again this step-by-step instruction where you can download this software and you can just dial into our MCU, and so multiple sites will be connected.
Right. Yeah, we could do that completely. I have a brand new room, but not all the stuff is hooked up, and it's been almost a year, so you can figure it out. But if let me just show you around here real quick. You see, we got like a really nice courtroom here.
Yeah.
And then I have, if you see up here, I got all these cameras, but none of the cameras are hooked up. And then the computer here doesn't work, so I am on a Chromebook. So
actually, you can just, turn the camera and then it will be a courtroom, and turn the other direction, it'll be, the food for thought, and that's cool.
Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. In fact, we're going to have, for the Armenian genocide coming up on the 24th, we're having some live and showing some people and stuff. We're actually having a little court in here. And then we're having a deal on Law Day where we're going to have some court cases. And then when we do those things in June with you guys from South Australia and stuff, we're going to have a set up for court cases. But we just have multiple Chromebooks tied in.
Yes, on June the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, that's great. So, yeah, a confirmation again on mock trial on June the 6th, right?
Right.
Okay. Fabulous. Thank you so much for today.
Okay, thank you. Talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.